For centuries, the origins of the Indo-European languages have puzzled scholars. This expansive language family, spanning from the Celtic tongues of Ireland to the Sanskrit of ancient India, holds a remarkable unity amidst its diversity. Each language, like a piece of an intricate puzzle, fits into a larger picture that tells a story of migration, conquest, and cultural exchange. Yet pinning down the birthplace of this linguistic family has proven to be a tantalizing enigma. Theories abound, each presenting compelling arguments and counter-arguments. Some propose that the story began on the steppes of Ukraine, with nomadic tribes spreading their language as they journeyed across the Eurasian landmass. Others argue for a different cradle of language, the fertile lands of Anatolia, modern-day Turkey, where ancient farmers could have sown the seeds of the Indo-European tongues. But where did it all start? The steppes of Ukraine or the fertile lands of Anatolia, modern-day Turkey? The debate has long been split. On one side, we have the theory of the nomadic herders. These were the tough, resilient wanderers of the Eurasian steppes. Their lives were in constant motion, moving herds of sheep, goats, and cattle across vast plains and rugged terrains. Some linguists believe these nomads, who lived around 6,000 years ago, were the first to speak the mother tongue of the Indo-European languages. Their language, they propose, spread with their migration, carried on the winds of the steppes, echoing through valleys and over mountains. Yet there's another theory, one that takes us even further back in time. Picture the fertile lands of Anatolia in present-day Turkey. Here, about 8,000 to 9,000 years ago, the first farmers tilled the soil, planted seeds, and reaped their harvests. They lived settled lives, in stark contrast to the nomadic herders. Proponents of this theory argue that these Anatolian farmers were the original speakers of the Indo-European languages. As they shared their agricultural practices with neighboring communities, so too did they spread their language. Two theories, two different ways of life, and two possible origins for the languages that would eventually span continents. The herder versus the farmer, the mobile versus the settled. The debate continues, and while we may not yet have a definitive answer, the quest for understanding goes on. Others argue for an earlier beginning among Anatolian farmers, around 8,000 to 9,000 years back. Enter a game-changing approach, computational linguistics. This pioneering field is shaking up our understanding of language evolution. It's akin to a detective, piecing together clues from the past, but in this case, the clues are words, phrases, and their structures. By analyzing these linguistic elements, computational linguists can trace how languages have changed and diverged over time. The science of computational linguistics borrows heavily from evolutionary biology. Just as biologists create family trees to trace the evolution of species, linguists construct language trees. These trees map out how languages branched off from a common ancestor, providing a visual representation of linguistic evolution. But how does this work in practice? Well, it all starts with databases of words from different languages. Researchers then use algorithms to compare these words, looking for similarities that suggest a common origin. Over time, they can trace these linguistic breadcrumbs back to the source, to the ancestral language from which many others have sprung. This approach has been likened to radiocarbon dating in archaeology, a technique that revolutionized the field by providing a way to determine the age of ancient artifacts. Similarly, computational linguistics has the potential to revolutionize our understanding of language evolution, offering a new way to uncover the roots of our shared linguistic heritage. Like radiocarbon dating revolutionized archaeology, this method promises to recalibrate our linguistic timelines. By deciphering ancient vocabularies, linguists paint a vivid picture of our ancestors. A single word can be a window into a world long gone, revealing not just what our predecessors spoke, but how they lived. Take, for example, the words for wheel, harness pole, and axle. These aren't just random collections of sounds. They're markers of a society in motion, a culture that understood the mechanics of movement and embraced it. Imagine, if you will, a time when the wheel was a cutting-edge invention, a marvel of engineering that transformed the way people traveled, traded, and interacted with their environment. The presence of these words in ancient vocabularies suggests that our ancestors were not static, but dynamic. They knew the value of horses and cattle, the importance of herding, the power of technology to change their world. Words for wheel, harness pole, and axle hint at advanced technologies, suggesting a society on the move, familiar with horses, cattle, and the art of herding. Yet, this computational approach is not without its critics. As we delve deeper into the world of linguistics, we uncover a simmering controversy. On one side, we have the traditional linguists, steadfast in their belief that language is an intricate tapestry of more than just vocabulary. They argue that computational methods may miss the subtleties of phonetic shifts and morphological patterns, elements that are crucial in tracing the lineage of languages. On the other side, we find proponents of the computational approach. They argue that their methods, while not perfect, offer a new perspective, a different lens through which we can examine the evolution of languages. They believe that by harnessing the power of modern technology, we can push the boundaries of our understanding. The debate rages on, with traditional linguists wary of relying too heavily on vocabulary alone, pointing to the nuances of sound shifts and structural similarities that computational methods might overlook. Despite the controversies, one thing remains clear. The rich tapestry of Indo-European languages is a living testament to the enduring bonds of humanity. These languages, seemingly diverse, are intertwined threads in the grand narrative of human history. They tell a story of communities that moved, mingled, and merged their cultures, shaping the world as we know it today. In the echo of these ancient voices, we hear tales of daring nomads traversing the vast steppes, of innovative farmers nurturing the fertile crescents of Anatolia, of bards and poets crafting tales that would transcend time. Each word, each phrase, each linguistic twist is a relic of our shared past, bearing witness to the power of human connection. From the steppes to the fertile crescents of Anatolia, the spread of these languages narrates a tale of migration, conquest, and cultural fusion. The legacy of the Indo-European languages is indeed a testament to the fusion of cultures, a fascinating chronicle of our collective journey.